So what is the difference between anxiety and a gut feeling? Well, as somebody who is also chronically anxious, I had a lot of difficulty understanding this. But I finally did get a grasp on it, and today I'm going to share it with you because I'm not a fan of gatekeeping. So what is the difference between intuition and what is sometimes called outtuition? And more importantly, where does anxiety fall in both of these, or is it its own category? Most people know intuition as this gut feeling that we rely on when we don't know all the facts about something. But what happens when that feeling isn't really clear or it seems to mesh with anxiety, especially if you are a highly sensitive person or have experienced a lot of past trauma? But before we get into it, let me introduce myself. I'm Jen Hachia, and on this channel, we explore the complexities of psychology and manipulation in both relationships and professional settings, and then discuss it in the comments below. So if that feels interesting to you, you are welcome to subscribe. And if you are already a regular watcher, hello there. Now let's dive in. Intuition is often described as this deep internal knowing that often guides decisions without conscious reasoning. Research suggests that it's a cognitive process that can generate fast and accurate impressions. Bernstein, for example, describes intuition as the appearance of accurate information that doesn't seem to come directly from our senses or our memory. Whereas Carl Jung would describe it as access to the collective unconscious. But intuition is not always easy to trust. We wish it was, but it's not, because we are humans and we live with something called anxiety. Some more than others. For people with trauma histories and heightened sensitivity, what feels like intuition can actually be fear. When your system is used to scanning for danger, that gut feeling can be very much entangled with anxiety and hypervigilance. As you might know by now, there is a strong connection with the mind and the body, especially the gut. When you are living in a constant state of alertness, your body could signal threat even when there is no danger present. And that can make it harder to know the difference between genuine intuitive insight and a fear-shaped response shaped by past traumas. And this is where a lot of people get stuck and sometimes disbelieve the existence of a gut feeling or intuition, because both can feel equally as intense and it takes a lot of conscious effort to learn to tell the difference. But it is possible. One way to learn how to separate them is by noticing the quality of the feeling. Intuition tends to feel like this quiet, gentle, direct, and almost neutral sensation in the body. It doesn't usually spiral or come with a bunch of rationalizations to try to convince you. Fear, on the other hand, has this sense of urgency. It repeats itself and gets louder, and it pushes you to act very quickly, almost out of impulse. Another way to tell a difference is to notice where your attention goes when you have one feeling as opposed to the other and you can't really tell the difference. If your focus immediately shifts to someone else and what they are feeling or what they might do or how they respond, that is not intuition. That's something else taking over. So I'm going to give you an example. You are about to make a decision, maybe accepting a job or going on a date with someone. Intuition can feel like a quiet clarity. Even if it's a no, it feels like the situation is already settled and you're not trying to reason it or find explanations for it. It just feels like, no, this isn't for me. And you kind of feel detached from it already. Like there is something in you that already knows the answer. And this comes before trying to rationalize it or tell all your friends about it or discuss pros and cons. Whereas fear sounds different. You start listing consequences, pros and cons, worst case scenarios, what could go wrong, what could go right, what will people think. It keeps looping, trying to give you certainty before you act, and you feel lost. So then you have intuition and outtuition. And to look at intuition, you can think of it as something that is internally focused. It's information that comes from within, and it informs you about yourself and your own situation. What you feel, what sits right for you, and what doesn't. And outtuition, on the other hand, is externally focused. It's information directed outwards that you have access to, and it tells you something about other people, what they are feeling, what they might need, and how they might react. Both can feel strong and can give you that sense of peace, but they point in completely different directions. It's not that having outtuition is bad, it's that sometimes only training your outtuition and ignoring your intuition makes you poorly attuned to yourself, and that doesn't benefit you at all. It's like you develop outtuition when you become a master at people pleasing and you know exactly what other people need and how other people can respond to things and how you can advise them. But then you don't know how to please yourself. And so you don't really develop your intuition that much. But that can be changed and attuned. And the thing is that it is fixable. You don't need to build your intuition from scratch if you have trouble with being attuned to yourself. You just need to reduce the noise that pushes you away from yourself and makes you so outwardly focused rather than internally focused. Most people who struggle with intuition is not because they are disconnected or because they lack awareness. It's just that they are overtrained to paying attention to other people. So the first step seems easy. It's not. But if you do it regularly, it will be helpful, which is before you respond to anything external or make any decisions, pause and check in with yourself. Even something as small and seemingly lame as, what am I feeling right now? Am I feeling peace? Am I feeling anxiety? Don't try to rationalize why you are feeling. Just think, what am I feeling? What is the sensation in the body? What are the thoughts? What's the thought process that's happening right now? Answering that, and then moving on with your day, with the situation, whatever it is. But just asking that question before making decisions, before talking or responding to someone in a conversation, asking that and making that a habit. Another way to train the intuition is to notice your first signal before analysis comes in. So here you have to start becoming more aware of your own thoughts while you are thinking. And this sounds complicated, but again, you have this innate ability in you. Intuition often shows up quickly and very instantly. And it overrides expectations or explanations or what ifs. So when you're in a situation where you usually just ask yourself, what should I do? Start asking yourself, what was my first reaction before I started thinking about it? What was the first reaction? Did it make you feel anxious? Did it make your stomach turn? Did it make you feel anger? Did it make you feel indifference? What was it? Train yourself, even in the most mundane things, to understand and direct the attention inwards. And intuition, this is the very important thing too, is that it doesn't just show up as a thought. It often also shows up in the body. It doesn't show up as a revolting anxiety and an urgency, but when there is resistance, it's very subtle, or there is this tension or lack of openness. So another useful question that you can ask is, does this feel like expanding or contracting in my body? And try to visualize what expansion can look like and what contraction can look like, and then associate that with situations at hand. Another way to train your intuition is to ask yourself, how would I think and feel about something if no one else was involved? That question can often cut through a lot of noise as well. And yes, this can seem very technical, but over time, it's going to feel less like you're following this guideline and this technique and more like a natural thing. It's going to be a shift in orientation, which is why in the beginning, it's going to feel very technical, but then it won't. And again, it's not that outtuition is bad and that you don't have to be attuned to other people. It's that when you spend so long attuned to other people, you need to spend some time on your own and understanding the voice within and training your inner awareness. Your starting point needs to move within yourself and needs to be you. You are the starting point in situations. And then, of course, you can have outtuition or externally directed intuition. And that is also fine, perfectly fine as well. You basically need to give yourself the time and space to let intuition come through. Being attuned to others can be a strength, but when it starts to override your connection to yourself, then that's where the problem lies. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful. Maybe you will start applying some of these things in your daily life. Hopefully you will. If you have experienced this yourself and you have used other strategies or want to share a personal experience of this, you are free to do so in the comment section. If you disagree with anything I said, you are also welcome to share that. I always welcome different perspectives as long as we all remain respectful. I hope that you learned something either way. And if you are interested in seeing more of this type of content, you can check out the playlist of life lessons from psychology or other ones like psychology and fiction and even the Ego Next Door podcast. And thank you so much for joining me in this discussion, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.